Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see so many people here. We've got people from all over, to be honest with you, and that's wonderful. I am going to show you a sample of what we're going to be doing on June the 17th. This class will be held then, and you can buy into it by going on the university and going to my classes, and it is Circle Society. And you can even download this handout if you would like. I'm going to pull it up so you can see the picture of the project there. It's not quite completed in that picture, as you can see. But what you're going to need for supplies, and this is just the supply sheet. So if you wanted to go ahead and snap a photo of your screen right there, then you would know what you're going to need for this project. So you're going to need a 25 by 25 inch square of fabric. And I put on there, that's also going to be the backing for your pillow. So you can see it's a half circle. And so the backing is part of that big square. So that's going to be why you want to know that, so you'll know what your backing is. You're going to need a 25-inch square of fusible fleece. You're going to need 18 to 20 2.5-inch by 22-inch strips of fabric. Obviously, you can use a jelly roll. That's what I did. But I'm going to show you another thing that you can do too. You're going to need a 7 by 7-inch square of fabric for that center circle. You can see that red down there at the bottom. That circle goes to the back also, so it's a 7 by 7-inch square. And you're going to need a compatible color thread for your piecing. I would just recommend that you use your white 60 weight fat thread, because I always recommend that you piece with 60 weight thread. That will be just perfect. I'm going to scroll up here, so if I see any questions, I can answer them. You'll also need some decorative threads, some buttons, some ribbons, whatever you want to use for some embellishment. So what I've got ready here, and when I make the other pillow with you in class, I will use some of these in the process. So I've pulled out some buttons. We can layer those buttons and stack them like that. You can have, all different colors of what you want. I've got some trim here that we could actually use our cording foot and couch down that. I braided some ribbon. I don't know how for sure I'm going to be using this, but then you'll have some options. I also used, for my center here, I used a variegated thread with my decorative stitch. So pull out some things that you may already have. I'm sure you've got stuff. That's just exactly what I did, is I just pulled out some things that I already had, and that's what I will use for that. Now, another thing that you can do if you really want to go scrappy, I'm going to show you how you can do that. So let me put those things out of the way. I don't know if you have ever seen or even knew it existed, what's called scrap tape. This is the 2.5-inch wide scrap tape. And what it is, it's a fabric that's very, very lightweight, almost like an interfacing. And it looks like this. And what it does, it allows you to piece on top of it. And then you can use these as your strips. Now, you could scrap this and use it like maybe in 4 or 5 places on there, or you could use it in every other strip, or you could use it all over and the whole pillow would look like it had been scrap pieced. So I'm going to come over here and bring you guys down just a little bit so I can show you how this works. Some of you may never have done any scrap piecing like this, and so this would be a fun experience too. Now, if your quilt store where you are does not have this scrap tape, just get a hold of me. You have my email address. I'm not even sure it's on the website yet, but I'll get it there real quick. And I just picked up, believe it or not, my daughter's used these fabrics. She's been doing a t-shirt quilt for someone. And I just went over and picked up some of the scraps that she had. So I've pressed them so they're easier to work with. And I started doing this. Now, I could just do this again and again and again and again, and it get pretty boring. You want your shapes to change here. So I'm just going to come like this, and I'm going to make sure that when I pull it down, it's going to be big enough to cover that up. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to follow that edge right there. When you get to the edge, you can just cut that. And at this point, I will tell you, your nice sharp scissors are what you want to use, because we want to hold this up and just cut that off. We don't want this to get real heavy. Now, yes, you could take it and use a rotary cutter. I'm going to just lay this down like that. And at this point, I am just rough cutting this off. You can see that this is cut smooth. What I did is I just took it over and cut it with my rotary cutter and a ruler. Now I keep my iron right here beside me, so it's just as easy to press that right now. Now obviously that's going to get cut off. So of course all of my pieces went on the floor. And I'm going to take this one. The hardest thing is to remember that they go upside down. And I'm going to lay that on there like that. This is really a lot of fun to do. And if you have lots of scraps, just pull them out and press them first. It helps to make them lay a lot nicer. We'll cut that off. And so you can see we've got odd shapes going on here. You could use like one of those little wooden irons to do that. And it looks like maybe I should put another little piece of gold in here. And you can see I've got a pretty long strip. That was not necessarily a scrap, but I'm not going to change the direction of this one too much. Just get that 1/4 of an inch going there. And before you know it, you'll have your strip ready to use in a project, whether it's this project or a different project. And so you can't really tell what it's looking like until you get these edges off, so you can see what you've got going there. Janice, I'm not sure if it comes in a wider size. I'll have to check on that. As you notice there, it is by Gypsy Quilter. So even you, if you don't have an account, you can go to checker.com. And I think it's Checker Distributor, checkerdist.com. And you can actually look on there to see what's available. If you can't get it, let me know, because I can get it for you. But yeah, it's really a lot of fun to use your scraps and put them together this way. And you can see in just that short amount of time, I've almost got my 22 inches done there. And as I said, I'd go back and use my ruler and cut it off on each side. And you can see how nice it is on the back. So it makes it very easy to work with. It's not heavy or anything like that. That's a great question about coming wider because, this could make a really cool border too, if you wanted a border wider than 2.5 inches. So, um, anyhow, that's something that you can do. Now, I'm going to refer back to my pillow because I did it in red, white, and blue, thinking we're doing this in June. That'll be all ready for your July 4th. And one of my strips, or maybe even two of them, that came in the jelly roll, actually looks like it's been stripped. I did not do that, and I used it in a couple of different places throughout my quilt just to space that in there. But that was already the way it was printed. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun to do. So I hope you'll join me. This session is really short, but that session will probably be at least an hour and a half long. And if you buy into the class, you can watch it whenever you want after it has been aired. Now, I don't have the instructions up there yet, but if you purchase the class today, it's $15, or maybe you have purchased it where you buy 6, you get 1 free. But anyway, excuse me. Anyway, you're going to be able to get the handout to get ready to actually take the class. And then you'll have that so that when you're ready to join us on June 17th, you'll be able to get the instructions for that. So are there any questions at this point? Okay, Cindy said it looks like they also make a 5-inch size. So again, if anybody's interested in purchasing that and your local store doesn't have it, just let me know. I'll get that, and you can get that and use that for however you want to do it. So this project is going to be using the crosshair square if you have one. So if you have a crosshair square, I didn't put that on the handout, I should have, but we'll also use some sort of a marker. It will not need to necessarily be a washout marker because the marks we make will be able to be covered up. So it's going to be a fun project. And the thing I like about it is once you get going with it, it's like a no thinking type thing. You just keep working. Now, I do want to point out, this is that variegated thread. So if you think, oh my gosh, she's got some really awful tension going there. No, that's the white in the thread. So if that bothers you, that would be one you wouldn't want to use because it does kind of make it look like you're pulling up bobbin thread when you're not. So anyway, all right. Thank you for joining me today, everyone, and everyone have a good rest of your week. And if I don't see you before, I'll see you on the 17th, which is a Tuesday. But don't forget, we also have something new coming up. It will be what's called Odd Mondays with Donelle. So on the Mondays that have odd dates, I will be joining you for, I believe it's an afternoon class. And the first one is the 9th of June. And it is going to be on the border sampler set. Whether you have it or you don't, I'm going to be showing you what you can do with that border sampler set. And that has actually 5 templates, 4 different ones. One is in 2 different sizes. So join me for that, and you'll maybe learn some new things you can do with the tools you already have, or show you why you may want to get some sampler template or some border templates. And I also believe, don't quote me on this, but I also believe that those are going to have a discount on them. So we'll hope for that, and we'll see if that transpires that way. So anyway, someone says, Patricia says, I've already got that set. Well, Patricia, you're all set, and you may learn some new things to do with those templates. So I'm really looking forward to getting back with you on a little bit more regular basis. I always have ideas and projects to share, and it just seems like time has gotten away from us. So join us for this class by going on the university and looking for Circle Society, and this will be the June class. So if you have any questions between now and then, let me know. There's my email, sobiz@indy.rr.com, and I'll be happy to help you. So this is a handout for that class. And remember to add on there, you'll probably want your crosshair square if you do ruler work. So thanks for joining everyone today. Have a good rest of your day and a rest of your week. Bye now.